So in my last video, I talked to you guys about how I want to be able to, you know, have a really beautiful background, or at least semi-decent background, um, in, you know, in Unreal Engines for my game. But I told you that my game is going to be um, for Android, mobile Android for your phone. So I can't really have this fancy thing that you can see right now, right? This is gorgeous. This has all kinds of things. There's shadows. There is, there's glasses. There is sunset. And this is not gonna work inside anything, right? This is not going to be at all possible. Um, as in, it can't work inside the phone, because as I said in my last video, what happens inside the phone is that you need to have a very small file size, and also very fast processing power, and none of this stuff lends itself well to that, right? So what happens is that um, we can't use that, and I told you I need to find a way to somehow fake this, and I just had no idea, I had no idea how that's possible. How can that be possible, that faking this thing? um, so this gorgeous thing, but I can't really have that, but I want to fake that, but I had no idea how to fake that. Then I talked to my brilliant friend Robert, that I would put his information in the description. He's an amazing game designer, uh, Unreal Engine game designer with 10 years of game design, and he showed me this brilliant trick that I'm gonna show you guys little by little. And this trick is gonna need it's gonna need several programs. So I'm gonna simplify this the way Robert did it for me. The idea is that if I want to make this thing, this wall you see here, or this is all made of incredibly complex geometry and textures, and this is why this marketplace asset is 11 gigabytes, because these extremely complex textures and designs and geometries and polygons, all of them are extremely complex and extremely expensive. It would be a complete waste on the mobile phone, and not only the file size won't be able to be handled on a mobile phone, the thing is that the processing power on a phone can never access this. And it's also a small, tiny thing. You're not going to be able to see this. So what Robert told me, and I told you I want to fake this. How do I fake this? So Robert taught me this thing. He showed me exactly what to do. And what you do requires these programs. It requires Blender and Substance Painter, and I'll show you guys what Robert showed me. Okay, it won't be extremely detailed, but it'll give you an idea. And this is again thanks to Robert and thanks to his generosity to tell me this. And this is a huge secret that you guys, if you know this would benefit you enormously the way it's benefiting me. So when you look at this, it's a plane, right? I mean, it's a wall, and the wall, I mean, I know it's a geometry, there's a, you know, there's another side to it, but this side you can see it's a plane, right? And then it has all these other things on it. So the way Robert does this, you go in Blender. I'm gonna show you really quick because this is really simple. It takes you 1 second to do this. You go in Blender, you are in Blender, you're in object mode in Blender, you go to add mesh plane. That's it, right? Then you need to learn how to navigate inside Blender. That's something that, you know, it's simple. You can just use this guy to navigate. And as you saw, the wall there was basically it's a rectangle. So it's not a square. So what I do is I want to turn this into a rectangle. And I go here with the scale thing and I scale it, right? So, you know, it's a scaled, and that's it, honestly, because I just want, all I wanted is just a rectangle. I don't want anything else, right? And then you go in edit mode here, and then you choose this plane, this thing here, and it's you know, you can see select mode, you can select vertices, edges, or planes. And I chose the plane. You go to UV unwrap and the smart UV project, right? And they just say unwrap. And I don't even know, because it's just one plane, I don't even know if this does anything, right? And then you go export it, and you're gonna export it to an FBX, okay? And then you call it maybe whatever, plane, okay? And then export to FBX. And believe it or not, for most of your designs, because they're just gonna be rectangles, that would be most of what you need to do, at least in the beginning when you're not very advanced. Like I'm not advanced at all in any of this. Then, so here is Robert's brilliance, that you're gonna use Google Maps to find a neighborhood or something that, you know, a picture of something you want. Like I showed you this thing, right? This thing, and I could use that, but it's still, this is very complex, and it's better if I just go to Google Maps. Now in the game that I'm making, I'm gonna have a florist, okay? So I'm gonna search Google Maps for florist. And it could be any neighborhood. I'm doing Los Angeles here. It doesn't really matter, right? So I'm just gonna go to this My Enchanted Garden, right? And I'm gonna again go here, drop this here, and look around, and there you go, My Enchanted Garden, right? So then what I need to do is get myself straight, go closer, and then you can use whatever screenshot thing you have to get a picture of this, right? So this is, you know, you use a screenshot thing to take a picture. I have actually done that already, okay? In Substance Painter, I go new, okay? And then for template, I'm gonna do Unreal Engine, okay, because that's what we are working with. And then for file, I'm going to select the plane that I created. I'm going to select this plane that I created inside Blender. It's in my downloads, so I'm going to find it there. Okay, plane FBX. I'm gonna make this OpenGL, make the document resolution at 10424, and just say okay. That's it. That's the plane. I brought that plane from Blender as an FBX, right? Now here's the magic. Here's Robert's brilliance, that I need to add that texture of the florist that I did from Google Maps. So I am gonna go here, import resources, okay? And then say add resources and look for it. And it's, I call it flow1 PNG, and current session, and then it's gonna be a texture. This is really important because this is gonna be, I'm gonna paint this plane with that texture, and I'm gonna import it. Okay, so nothing happened, of course, because I haven't really done anything. I just added that florist into one of my paint brushes, if you will, here. So then what I do is I add a layer, a fill layer, to my plane here, like this. Okay? Then I can change the base. Now what needs to happen, this is, as you see, this is not the right thing. I need to change the direction of this rectangle. Okay, I changed the direction. Then here on my fill layer, I go to base color. So that's it, my florist, right? And then I go here and drop it here. There you go. Now it's so you gotta play with like tiling. You gotta play with tiling and like rotation, right? So I rotated it. And as you see, it has like this guy that needs to go away. So I need to go in Photoshop and play with it and work with it. But this is just to show you guys what is happening, right? So tiling, if I go, I can change tiling like something like that. As you see, this is very similar to, you see, it's very similar to this guy, which is what I have in Google Maps. Maybe I play with tiling a little bit more. No, that seems to be good tiling. So the next step is to get this into Unreal Engine. First, we need to export it. So I go here and I say export textures, right? Because that's what we're gonna do. And it's saying where I want to put it, so I'm gonna put it where I want to put it. And notice it's a file type is a PNG. It's extremely small, it's only 8K, which is awesome. And it's Unreal Engine, right? So I'm just gonna say export. I'm gonna bring my plane FBX here. And just say import all. That's my plane. There's nothing to it, right? It's Okay, so I need to put a material on this. Yeah, so I'm gonna be call this material test material. Yeah. Um, then let's work on the test material, and I'm gonna bring in actually three things. I'm gonna bring them in and see what happens. As you see, I have three materials that I have brought in from Substance Painter. But as Robert told me, you don't really need anything. You only need what it's called the base material. It's just this guy, right? Which you could already see because it already says base color, right? You connect the RGB to base color, and because sometimes it becomes too shiny, you put constant 1 to roughness, and that's it. As Robert mentioned, this is gonna save you 66% space per material. You are getting three different texture files exported from Substance Painter, but from that you only need the base texture, this guy. You don't need, and you need to put roughness 1, and then you apply and save, and then look at your game. And then I'm gonna apply this material to this plane, and voila. I mean, it's not amazing, but you get the idea, right? It looks pretty amazing because look, it's a storefront. I mean, it's upside down, and voila. I mean, it's not, you know, I mean, I can start playing from here, and it's not the right size or anything. I mean, I guess I have to make it larger. Now let's start the game. Isn't that amazing? I mean, look. It looks pretty real, right? So I will be making more videos when I'm in this process of actually making my city block. But as you see, this is pretty impressive. It's like you can tell that this is not real geometry and little texture. The, the glass looks like it's almost reflective. It's a good trick. And this whole thing, I tell you, what's the size of it? Let me tell you what's the size of it. All these three images are 1.28 megabyte. And I didn't really do anything. I didn't do any enhancement. I didn't do anything. But that should give you a clear idea how powerful this technology is.